Now, I want to now cover I want to essentially talk about what you feel is opportunities beyond what we discussed for potential developers to look at this year into next year, like kind of what's also out there that we should be discussing or paying attention to that some others
Well,
maybe
let-
might not be.
yes. Well, let me also say that I'm about to cross into my fifth year of having my own company
Mhm.
and running my own development management consulting business, and which kind of started. I figured I would go out and start as a development company.
Right.
Well, that requires a huge pocket of money.
Yeah.
And as I did start, and got one opportunity, two opportunities to work with companies.
Mhm.
I've worked with developers who
Mhm.
just have a short bench. They don't have enough people to work on something.
Right.
Maybe there are developers of a certain asset class
Right.
and they've never worked in residential, which is my expertise. Um, Multifamily, large scale multifamily.
Mhm.
Um, and I work for myself by myself. I'm very focused on the projects I take for that reason.
Mhm.
And so when I'm out looking at things, I think I look at it with a different eye.
Mhm.
There are certain sites when I see an offering memorandum or I drive by something and I see a sign, I'm like, okay, that's a major intersection. That's going to be a big project. One of my old companies, even back to, I've worked for REITs, I've worked for investment banks, et cetera. They're going to go after that. That is a major site.
Right.
And again, just so people understand, um, even within certain asset silos,
Mhm.
there's different tranches.
Right.
So there are people that I see that go after 50 units and less because that's typically by right.
Mhm.
And if you know that market and you've got your architect and your GC and your team of subs that build that product, that's one thing.
Right.
As you get to 100, 115 units, 150 units rather,
Mhm.
you're
Mhm.
starting to get to a good size. Now you get some economy of scale.
Mhm.
That may be a whole nother GC level, a
Yep.
whole nother set of subs,
Right.
etc.
Mhm.
And then you get to 200. I've always used 200 units and
Mhm.
above.
Mhm.
That's institutional grade real estate.
Right.
That's where you're going to have a bulge bracket GC. You're going to have major subcontractors who are ridiculously efficient,
Right.
very highly computer, schedule
Yep.
motivated. They are an operating machine.
Mhm.
Like we have 235 units down at 1340 South Hill.
Yeah.
CBG is a bulge bracket, big national developer
Yeah.
or national GC.
Yeah.
They have incredible systems, policies, procedures, best practices, etc. Your equity investors are going to be at that level. So when I look around there, I'm like, okay, you know what? I know that's going to be a dogfight amongst a bunch of big whales.
Right.
I've been looking for things, either one, where people bring things to me because, hey, as I said earlier, if you own a piece of property that you don't know what to do with, but
Yeah.
it has value,
Right.
you don't need to sell it or go sell your soul to another developer and
Right.
split. It's like, okay, we will sell we'll team up and we will let you run the project
Right. Right.
and take us to, and then we're just going to sit back and do that. I offer people the option of, hey, you can keep the property, we can develop the property for you,
Right.
and you may get a limited partner
Right.
and a loan, depending on how much the value is or what kind of, how much further equity you may bring to the table, additional capital infusion that the family or existing ownership makes.
Right.
So I've also been trying to look at those things that I think are complicated and maybe people drive by thinking like, no friggin' way am I looking at that thing.
Right.
Well, okay, it's like, oh, the power lines are running right along the edge of the property. Well,
Mm.
because of LADWP safe practices, you can't put a piece of equipment within 10 feet of a power line.
Right.
So you got to think of, okay, my site might be this wide, but I can only build this much.
Mm.
And when you think of building below grade, I can't go down and then, expand and,
Mm.
make a balloon below grade. Just, we're
Right.
not miners. We go
Right.
straight down and we dig out a bathtub.
Right.
So I think there's great opportunities in those things that maybe people are overlooking.
Mm.
I think, also looking where not everybody else wants to be. I think a gorgeous site, on the west side or in Santa Monica, even with a difficult jurisdiction, it's, known to be difficult. I don't
Yeah.
personally have experience in Santa Monica, but known to be difficult.
Right.
People may say, oh, I don't want to get in the 10-year headache with all the residents because they will be in your face.
Yes.
Well, you know what? Maybe it's worth doing a little digging in that and really understanding, is it going to really, well, it backs to an office building and then do a retail, there's not really residential adjacent. It's not going to create, so I think those people who look at those different, more complicated deals can find opportunity. Anything that's not vanilla is do it. And then just certain jurisdictions that are, where is the next path of travel? I know just by following the news, CIM has been doing a lot of work in the Adams Boulevard corridor.
Yes.
Mostly because the principal's there, and my old boss specifically was like, look, this could be a phenomenal place to live.
Right.
If it had a little more oomph, and let's, and things are affordable. Let's go gobble up a couple, sites that face the street, and let's turn the place around.
Yeah.
And, yeah. And also, I think there's always opportunities wherever there's something larger being constructed. In Washington, D.C., when they built what used to be the Verizon Center, I don't even know what it's called anymore, but the basketball hockey arena, concert arena that they built in Chinatown in D.C. The minute that thing was done, and even as it started popping, just everything started popping. When they built the Nationals baseball stadium, popping. And everything changed overnight. When they built SoFi, Inglewood, popping. Anytime you're doing a major, like West Side Pavilion, when Hudson got involved and then made the deal with Google. I mean, I drive Westwood Boulevard every day.
So much development happening just around that.
Forget about it. It's like it's already happened. So I think those of us, in this business, try to always watch what others are doing. That is why I like LinkedIn. I like to see where are those people going. Certain people who know the Valley, they just know the Valley. Certain people know downtown LA. Certain people just know the West Side. Some people only know 50 units and less. Some people, I'm quite frankly working on things that are, I think townhouses are something that's just not something in this market. They're just not, people have a choice of buying an old house that needs a ton of work. You and I have had this chat. Or they're buying a condo that they really don't want to be in. Because there's no middle. A townhome to me is that middle step.
I agree.
Where I have, attached communal in that way, communal living, because I've got neighbors to the right and the left. But I do have my own space and something private and my own barbecue. I don't have to go down to a communal barbecue. And I still think that with what the multifamily housing industry has done following the hotel industry, which I think stems all the way back to like 2002, 2004, when I think it really kicked into gear. And then we really had the downturn of the condo market when renters could see, wow, I can have stainless steel appliances and I can have a granite or a marble or some really cool countertop. And my bathroom looks like, a bathroom I would see it in a hotel, versus just a plain old, sink and a toilet and a tub. What we've done in multifamily, which is great about working with talented interior designers. And when you get the architect, interior designer, landscape architect, marketing team, owner, property management, all in the room talking about what it should be, what it could look like, and always keeping things fresh. Well, how much rent are we going to be able to get? And is that going to be a real rental rate? Or are we just, if you're going to show me an apartment that needs $20,000 a month, the velocity of rental, you're going to rent very slowly. And so I think those are also interesting opportunities of what's possible in certain locations if you get creative. Even though it might still be an apartment building. What could you do? How you orient a building, John? Just based on its location, relative to which way, where's south, where's north, east, and west? How can I arrange the building? Which is why, look, I'm a licensed architect as well. That's how I started in this business. So I love, and when I look at a site that I think is challenging, I'll spend, entire weekend sketching, looking at this. I'll go walk the site 3-4 times. I'm
Wow.
looking up in the air as much as I'm looking at what's around
Yeah.
and trying to figure out, okay, where would I enter? Where is you got and working with a lot of phenomenal management people, asset managers. When
Yeah.
you think about that, if somebody can think forward enough to say, okay, if I build this building, what does the leasing tour look like?
Mm.
Curb to curb. By the
Right.
time someone walks in the building and leaves the
Yeah.
building,
Yeah.
what are they going to experience? Well, how is the building designed? Where is the best place for retail? Where would a garage entrance want to be? How do you get trash out of the building? How does
Right.
someone move in the building? How does someone move out of the building? All those things I try to consider. So when I say, okay, I can do this many units, and because of so many units, I need so many parking spaces, and
Right.
you're balancing above grade, below grade. That's where people are going to find opportunity right now, is they're going to have to, really use some smart thinking and be creative. And that's what there are some awesome architects in this city. You don't have to leave Los Angeles to find wicked talent. And that's also really fun too.